Hello and welcome to Visit Fylde Coast. It's Thursday, which means it's digger day. You might not get this on Thursday actually, but nonetheless, that's when I'm filming it. And I've come to talk to you about rocks, because I know the rocks are upsetting a lot of people. So I'm going to show you, again, exactly what it is that they're doing on the beach. So this is all about keeping the beach stable and protecting all the properties and all the infrastructure and all the residential accommodation between here and wherever the water would go to from erosion and from flooding. So don't forget to sign up and get your email newsletter. I'm in the venue on a Thursday morning, which is where I'm going now, from 9 till 12. So if anybody's got any questions, you can pop in and you can have a look. I've got all the plans, all the drawings, everything that you want to look at. Let's have a look then, shall we? So this is the toe protection rock. This is Wyre Beach at Cleveleys. So as you can see, it runs that way, and this rock sits over the top of the old sea wall. So this old 1930s, 40s sea wall is concrete, and it comes under the beach like that, and it ends in a straight line sort of underneath where the rocks are. There's nothing to protect it from erosion and undermining. So it's a very real possibility that this wall, if the beach got sufficiently worn away, could be breached. It could be breached and it could collapse. So this is actually quite a bit higher than it has been. You'll know that last year that they manually covered and backfilled all these rocks so that there weren't any voids underneath the water, underneath the sand. They've become exposed because obviously there are no groins in place to hold the sand up and the beach material. But most of the time they will mostly be covered. So that's that. Right, so there's bits of black fabric keep poking the noses up. This is a bit of the geotextile wire which is used underneath the rocks, and that is laid in the bottom of a trench that they dig, and then the rocks are placed on top of it so that they don't move and they don't sink into the beach. So this central section of Wyre Beach is not faffed about with so much at the moment, because this isn't subject to a dog ban. So they're doing this in summer when they can work on it properly. So they've already done a crossover ramp, which is this one here that you can see, and they've already done some of the groin work up near Russell Skull, which is over here. So as we approach this next part finished groin, you'll see that already the beach has started building up, and that's because the rocks reduce the turbulence. Quite a few people have asked about why they're not solid and why there are great big gaps in between them, and that is deliberate. The voids are just as important as all the actual rocks, because that is what breaks up the wavelength of the water and it stops it from rushing up towards the sea wall with all its force. So you can see there, look how there's a big area of sand built up against the stones. So these rocks will join up to this ramp. This one's not finished yet. This is why it looks as if it's washing away already, because this is ordinary concrete that they build the majority of it with, and then they cap the top of it off with a super strong marine grade concrete which doesn't erode like that's eroded, but it's very, very expensive. So if they were to do all of it in that same material, it would cost a bomb. And then this side of the groin is joined up to where the toe protection is at the top. So that's the science at the back of it. So this pile of rocks here is nothing more than a pile of rocks. They've got limited space within Jubilee Gardens, so they're not able to put all the rocks that are delivered to site actually in the stockpile in the gardens. So they're bringing them out onto the beach and putting them where they're ready for the digger to just sit in the middle and swing his arm round and pick up whichever rock he wants to do the next job. So this pile of rocks will not be stopping here. It's just a pile of rocks. Oh, it's wet. It's wet and I've not got my old shoes on. I want to rip my shoes. So they're just temporary. So when they come to finish this ground off, the digger will sit in the middle of here and he'll swing his bucket round and he'll pick up whatever he wants to fill the gap between there, and then from the groin up to the toe protection. So you'll end up with neat rows of rocks. This is the drawing that shows you how you're going to end up with straight groins in straight lines. So this is the boundary here with Blackpool. This is where the shipwreck memorial is. This is the end of Victoria Road. These are the curvy headlands coming up to the cafe. So that's the cafe and the venue where I am literally now at this minute. And then this is Russell Beach at Cleveleys. This is where the cable comes to shore for the Walney offshore wind farm. And then it continues. This is the water outfall at the side of Russell School. This is where you get into your tank traps region. And this then is your completed Russell scheme, which starts at Westway. So this is Westway down here, going up towards Fleetwood North. So you can see that you end up with all these groins in a straight line at the end, so that you end up with a groin field which stabilises all the beach towards the shore. And that is all they're doing. They're not leaving it like a quarry. It's not going to look like the Flintstones they've been visiting. It's going to look neat and tidy. And when they've had some time to settle in and the water has deposited some sand around them, most of them will disappear underneath the beach. So there'll just be a little bit that sticks up. The idea of them is that they hold the beach in place and stop it from moving about quite so much. Because anybody who uses this beach will know that this beach moves about ever such a lot. There's a pile of base layer rocks just up there. We'll go and have a walk up there. I'll go up onto the path, which have come out from underneath the previous groins, which were in front of the cafe area. And they've just been dumped in two holding spots. There's one here near the £5 gate and there's one near the cafe. And they're being removed off site. So they've just been popped there as a temporary measure. You know what they say, you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg. So this is the building work being done. Right, I'll show you this pile of underlayer now. You see better that they're just positioned at the side of the groins, ready for picking up and putting into place. So that's your pile of underlayer rock just down there that you can see in the distance next to the tank traps. That's the smaller pieces of rock that are not going to be used in the foundations or any of this current construction phase. So you can see a bit better here what they're doing. They look like they're working on this actual crossover ramp down here, but they've started putting the rocks to the right hand side of the ramp, and they've left a gap through so that they can drive their equipment through it, because obviously they can't block themselves in down the other end of the beach. So they've left a gap to get their equipment through, and the bits of rock that are sat on other sides are the bits of rock that are going to fill the gap in, which is exactly what you can see here, look. So these are spare rocks, and this is where they've started doing the rock on this side of the groin. So there's a clear gap where they can, in fact you can see the track marks where they can drive the diggers through the middle. And then these little bits of rock here will come into this gap when they've finished working to the south, because otherwise they'll be blocked on the beach. And that's what they're doing all the way down. So all these great big piles of rock will all eventually form into straight lines. The effect that you'll get when it's finished against the crossover. It'll all start to build up and fill the gaps in. So that's a nice little perching spot when you're wanting to sunbathe and you're wanting somewhere to sit comfy. So the next pile of rocks that everybody's puzzled about is this one. So this is the underlayer rock that I mentioned, which is down at the 5-bar gate. So this is just being stored here for the time being, and that will then be moved in due course. You can see some of it's gone already. It's definitely a smaller pile than it was. The big stones around the edge are just holding the little stones in place to stop them from bouncing off when the tide comes in, so they're going to disappear. Oh, that was useful. I hope that was a bit of an update to make a bit more sense. And until next time, we'll see you later. But if you've got any questions at all, please pop them underneath the video, or you can call into the venue, which is right there. There you go. On a Thursday morning. If I'm not in early on, I'll be somewhere out here taking pictures. And I'll see you later. Bye for now.